Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be filming a drama school Q&A. This is such a highly requested video, mainly just because it's audition season. People are literally auditioning from September to February, probably first rounds. So I have my computer here, I've got all the questions that I'm going to answer down on there. So before we go into it, I'm just going to explain a little bit about myself, just because I'm so aware that I never really give any exposition as to who I am and what I'm doing and what I'm talking about most of the time on my YouTube channel. So I am currently training on the BA Actor Musician course at Mount View Academy of Theatre Arts. It's the best decision I ever could have made in my life. It is the best course for me. I mean, this course was literally made for me. Even though I have quite a strong background in musical theatre, I now have a lot more training in acting and music, so I basically have a little bit of a full bubble. I am nowhere near the finished product. I still have half a year left of my training. For a couple of years now, I have been teaching music. I teach flute, piano, and singing. And since the start of summer this year, I have basically started training people for drama school auditions. So I only auditioned for 1 year. I was so, let me stress, so lucky to get in my first year of trying. It's really rare for that to happen. So first of all, get it out the window that you have to get in your first year. I got rejections at 5 different places before I got accepted to my course. So that's a little bit about me. Everything I say in this video is all opinion. None of it is fact. And this is just from the opinions I have gained through auditioning, through going through 3 years of drama school training, hearing other people come through having auditioned, and also talking to so many of my followers who chat to me about their process. Also helping people who have been auditioning this year. I've got a little bit of insight as to what the new self-tape auditions are like. This is literally just me trying to help in any way that I can for people who maybe have no idea what auditioning is about. So my first question is, have you got any tips for self-tapes? Because of Corona and lockdown, drama schools are now doing auditions online, which I don't think anybody would have anticipated. I think there are pros and cons to it. Obviously the pros are, for the drama schools, it takes way less time to get through auditions and you can do it from your own home. So actually from a drama school point of view, it's much more efficient and much cheaper. However, from a performer point of view, it's really disappointing, I think. One of the main things that I took away from my audition experience was I only knew which school I wanted to go to from having gone to that school and experienced the audition day. So actually I think it's such a shame that everybody doesn't get a chance to go and actually see the building and feel the vibes of the audition. Self-taping is such a skill in itself. We've been trained to do self-tapes as part of our screen acting classes, but it's not something that anybody auditioning who hasn't really trained in screen acting will understand or know how to do, which is really difficult and hard for you guys. They are going to be so lenient on your home situation and your background and the equipment you're using. So there is no pressure for the technical side of self-tapes I'm going to talk about now. If your home situation does not allow you to do all of these things, don't worry and don't stress, because panels aren't going to be judging the quality of the video. They are going to be judging the quality of your performance, which is all that matters at the end of the day. So my first main tip is have your camera at your eye line. You don't want the camera like really high up. Similarly, you don't want to look down at the camera, so just make sure it is right at your eye line. If you can, do it with a plain background. Working through the lovely girls that I'm helping with auditions this year, it's kind of dawned on me that actually moving positions within the frame for different pieces and characters might be a little bit more interesting than if you basically went from one monologue to the other to the next and you didn't see any change. So I am suggesting, again, complete opinion, maybe for one monologue you might be in this position, and actually another one of my tips is just for eye line. I wouldn't look straight into the camera, it's a little bit off-putting. So I would look literally just to the edge of your camera, just to the side of it, so they can still see your face but you're not dead on. Maybe for the next one you might want to then come to the front and introduce the next one, and then maybe move to a different angle, just to shift the energy and to kind of show that you're thinking that it's in a different setting, because if you're looking at exactly the same thing, it's going to be quite hard to imagine a different character in a different setting. Another massive one for self-tapes is don't be locked physically. It's so difficult to get it out of your head when you're in this little box and you feel like you just can't move because you need to stay in your box. Actually, if you're just static for the whole audition, it could get quite boring. If you go out of frame a little bit, it won't matter, but they just want to see that you are also engaged physically with your body and kind of using everything you have to deliver these audition monologues. And the last one is probably a given, just have really good lighting. Make sure that they can see your face. Natural light is brilliant if you have a ring light like I do. Basically, they're all the tips I have for self-taping and filming. Obviously, as I said before, if you can't manage to get this technical setup right because you're at home, you don't have the right technology, you don't have plain backgrounds, it doesn't matter. This is literally just to get the perfect take. Okay, the second question is how to prepare for the musician part of an actor musicianship audition. So obviously this is the course that I'm studying. Choose a piece that you are really familiar with, that you've been playing for like months. You don't want your eyes to be glued to the music the whole time. My advice would be to choose a piece that's more technical for the first round, because for the recall, you basically have to sing a song and accompany yourself on an instrument. Obviously that's going to be a much simpler version because it's an accompaniment to your singing. So show off your technique in the first round, and then for the second round you can kind of relax and show a bit more tone and musicianship. Be connected to the genre physically. If you've ever watched those like Young Musician of the Year shows and people are playing the piano and they're literally moving their whole body and it's so expressive and like over the top, I'm not suggesting you do that, but the panel want to be able to see that you are connected with the music, enjoy the genre, and yeah, just move around a little bit. Or if it's a cheeky one, do a little shoulder or just anything to show a little bit more character and flair that's going to make you stand out. This is a good question. So someone said, was drama school everything you expected? No, it wasn't. I had basically dreamed of Fame the Musical, or these programs that you see where they like go into drama schools and it's all like really stagey and drama-y and they're all singing and dancing, and I'm not saying it's not like that, but in terms of the actual lesson content, I was expecting it to be like so many shows, you show all your shows to your parents. I mean, especially first year is so not like that. First year is basically teaching you all the foundations that you're ever going to need as an actor. So you're learning all about like sensitivity, self-awareness. You like literally walk around a room for so many lessons. You're learning about posture, alignment, voice, like all the bases of our craft. Loads of teamwork games. You will play so many games in your first year. That's not something I was expecting to do at all. So it wasn't what I expected, but I was expecting a completely unrealistic version of drama school. Someone said, I'm filming my audition this week. What do I wear, and is it best not to wear makeup? If wearing makeup makes you feel confident and more relaxed, wear makeup. You don't want to stress yourself out for this audition, so if that's what you're used to, wear makeup, but just don't cake it on, because the panel want to see your real face, and if they feel like they can't see the real you, then that's going to be a bit of an issue. Maybe do a more like light and natural look, and I do think you want a little bit of something on your face just so that you look a bit more alive on camera, because it's really easy to look completely dead and washed out. The main thing is you want to feel confident and relaxed. Again, with clothes, you want to feel comfortable, so don't wear anything that's like really restricting and just makes you feel really uncomfortable. On that as well, you want to wear something that really shows them who you are as a person. I know that's really cryptic and that's really hard to do, but just wear something that you think says something about you and about the person that you want them to know. The next question is, how do you prepare for an audition? If you feel like you need help on literally everything from the very start of the process up until your final audition, then I am here to help. My email is here. If you would like to inquire about any sessions, please just drop me an email. So I'm not going to give you all of my clues, but learn your lines straight away. Obviously it's a little bit easier being able to do self-tapes, because if you forget a line you can literally just do another take, but when you're in the room you need to know your lines so well, because you will forget, and actually you can't properly start working on a monologue until you know your lines. With your monologues, keep doing loads of exercises on them, keep them fresh, because they will get boring and they will get old and you'll feel like you're just stuck in the same way of doing it. And with monologues, look at characterization, physicality, voice. For the songs, do loads of acting through song. A good exercise is actually to literally say the lyrics as if they're a monologue and don't sing them, and that can help to feel a little bit more like you're acting. I know for so many schools you have to have like 2-minute cuts of a song, 1-minute cuts of a song. Cut them early so you can get used to the acting journey within that cut, because 1 minute isn't very long, so you're going to have to work out how you get from the start of your character's predicament to the ending of it, and how basically they change throughout the song. And I think also part of the preparation stages is prepare for rejection. I always say to my girls, I do think it is a lot about luck. It's about how the panel are feeling that day, how many people they've already taken on, have they already offered a place to someone who looks exactly like you and they just didn't get to you soon enough. There are so many factors on the day that contributes to whether you get in, and obviously I know it is also about talent, but there are other things in play, so just prepare yourself for rejection. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's really rare to get in your first year of trying. We are the only industry that hasn't worked for an entire year because of coronavirus. That says a lot in itself. We have to be really tough. We are self-employed. It's hard. So you've got to be prepared for a really tough career. If you can't prepare yourself to be auditioning over and over again, this isn't the industry for you. So someone's asked how to choose an audition monologue. I kind of feel like it's like, obviously not that I've done this, but like choosing a wand in Harry Potter. Like you just know, I feel like you read through it and you're just just like, yeah, that's a bit of me. So don't worry about acting it straight away, but just read it and see how it feels in your voice and whether you feel like it's convincing that this person would be you. It needs to have high stakes. This is so important. It has to be a matter of life or death, or it has to be a really difficult situation. Drama does not happen if there's not a conflict going on. So if the monologue's just about like a description about something outside that you're seeing and it's just all like description and imagery, it's not going to give you interesting choices to make. Also make sure that you don't choose a monologue where there are tons of references to the rest of the play that out of context it doesn't really make sense. How to pick yourself up from a no from one of your top schools. It's so hard. It is so hard, and nothing I can say is gonna make that feeling go away. Let yourself cry, feel that rejection, feel inadequate inside, because they're all things that you just need to go through. Know that it's not about you. Like I was saying before, it could be literally that day they've already accepted someone who looks exactly like you. And that helps because it takes the blame off you and you're not so hard on yourself, which I think is really important. An audition panel have watched my tape 6 times already in 2 days. What does this mean? Now I know that most auditions are being done where you upload your audition to YouTube as an unlisted video and then you send the link to the panel. The number of views on unlisted YouTube videos is not accurate. I can tell you this now. I've had exactly the same thing for my screen acting classes where we've had to upload self-tapes onto YouTube and do exactly the same thing, and the teachers have only watched it once, yet it says I've got like 7 views. The numbers aren't as accurate as you think. Don't read into it. It does not mean anything. It's like in an audition where the panel asks you to do your second monologue, or they ask you to do it again, or they redirect your stuff. You cannot afford to read into it because it's so different for every single person. It's not helpful. Is it worth auditioning for 2 different courses at one school? Absolutely. Increase your chances. If you can afford to audition twice, increase the chances that you have of getting in. Advice when they ask you to improvise. How do you be creative? This is a really good question. There is devising and improvising in live auditions as well. And also I know for self-tapes, some schools are like sending you different images and you have to write a piece based on what you interpret from the image or different things like that. I would say go with the first thing that comes to mind. As soon as somebody gives you a task, there is something that comes, and just kind of roll with it. And if it really doesn't work later down the line, then like try something else. But just go with your first instinct and just see where it takes you. Don't overthink it and don't put yourself down before you've even explored an idea. You've got to go into it with a sense of play. If you're already judging yourself and your ideas before you start the task, it's never going to be good in your eyes. Now for in-person auditions, a really good thing for devising is showing that you can work with other people and showing, again, that you have that sense of play in the room and that you don't take yourself too seriously. You can lead, but you can also be a team player. Openness and a willingness to just put yourself out there and see what happens. Okay, this is gonna be the last question of the day. Tips on how to stay creative during Corona and audition times. It's such a good question because we do need to stay creative. I have gone through so many waves of being like, I don't wanna do this anymore. Our whole industry is not working. Currently, drama schools aren't allowed to be in the building rehearsing shows safely. And I've just had so much anger that I'm like, I don't wanna create. What's the point? It's so easy to get sucked into the negativity of the times. But the most important thing that we can do is to create, to defy the leaders of this country who are telling us that we are not significant and not important to this economy. Create in defiance of the government who are not allowing the industry to work. Create because this is what you were put here to do. Try and make change through what you're creating. And just remember, especially whilst you're auditioning, what made you want to do this career? What made you start? And go from there. I hope you found this video useful and helpful in any way. Again, if you would like a session with me, please get in touch. Send me an inquiry via email and I will be so happy to help you. Don't overthink. Relax. Don't do it 100 times over, especially with these self-tapes and online auditions. It will be so easy to record it 1,000 times because it's never right. Have fun. Know that you've done enough preparation. A really massive good luck to everybody auditioning this year. Hats off to you. It's not been easy, and if you are still auditioning and this is still your passion through everything that's been thrown at us as an industry, you are amazing, and that is basically what the country needs to see, that no matter what they do, we will still rise. I'm being so political. If you have any more questions or any more comments, or if you want to let me know how your auditions went, put it down below and I would love to hear from you all. Subscribe if you're new here. Welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next time. Bye!